Hi, welcome back to So This Is Life podcast. My name is Blessing.
My name is Fidra.
And we are joined by the lovely
Daisy Sunshine.
This is So This Is Life podcast, where we're all about life and Abe
and
Flow.
Yes. We are all about life and its ebb and flow.
Thank you, Fee. We are happy that you made it back here. Thank you for all the love you're showing us. We see it, we feel it, and tell everyone about us. Daisy, how are you?
I'm good. Happy to be here.
Happy to
I
have
have
you.
a very cute set.
Thank you.
yes.
Here at
Behomu. Yeah. Yeah. Fee, how are you? It's been a while since I last saw you, actually.
I'm good.
Yeah.
I've been good. How are you?
I'll leave. I'll leave. I'll leave. All right, let's settle in, Fidra. What is today's
let's get
situation?
into today's situation.
Yeah.
It's quite lengthy. I must warn you, it's a very long read.
Okay.
Hi, ladies. I need help with a family situation that's been tearing us apart for years. When I was in senior 1 and my brother in senior 3, our mother adopted a little girl from the village. She was 3 years old and her father was my mom's cousin. This girl, let's call her Grace, was one of many children in a tough situation. Her parents barely took care of her, so my mom offered to raise her as her own. I was thrilled at first. I finally had a little sister. But Grace wasn't easy. Even as a young child, she was stubborn, big-headed, and wouldn't listen to anyone. We thought it was just a phase, but nothing worked. Not gentle parenting, not chiboko, not rewards or bribes. She had this wild streak we couldn't reach. By the time she was 12, my mom decided boarding school might give her focus as she prepared for her PLE exams. Instead, Grace ran away. We were terrified and filed a missing child case, but mom was crushed, blaming herself for failing to raise her right. Weeks later, we heard Grace had found her way back to the village to search for her birth parents. She knew her father. He would come around for family gatherings, but was mostly absent. Her mother, on the other hand, was a mystery. When her father learned that she'd left, he cut her off entirely, calling her ungrateful. Grace lashed back, and they had a bitter argument. She said things to him that I can't repeat. Still, Mom offered her a chance to return, maybe even go to a technical school, but Grace refused and chose to fend for herself. At 14, she got pregnant. I thought maybe this would bring her some grounding, give her something stable to hold on to. But a few months in, she dropped the child off with the baby's paternal grandparents and started working. At one point, she worked in the market, cooking food and even called now and then to check on Mom. I thought she was trying to make a change, but soon after, her child fell ill and passed away. We went to comfort her. We offered her the chance to come home and restart, but she declined and vanished again. After a while, Grace resurfaced, saying she'd found work at a kafunda bar in an upscale neighborhood. Mom was relieved. Maybe this was her break. Grace even came home for a visit, only to reveal that she'd quit the job, claiming the cashier had accused her of theft. My mother immediately started looking for another opportunity for her, but before we knew it, Grace was gone again, now employed as a house help in a mansion. Soon, she called saying she was being harassed by the man of the house, while his wife encouraged her to ignore it. I know how sensitive abuse claims are, but with Grace, I also knew she was often prone to making up stories or putting herself in precarious situations. Even then, Mom urged her to leave if she felt unsafe, and Grace finally returned home. This time she stayed longer than usual, but she refused to help around the house. All she did was watch movies, listen to music, and order the household help around. Finally, Mom got her a job at a supermarket. She'd leave early and return late, and for a while, I thought she was settling down. Then a few months in, we got a call from her boss. He accused Grace of drinking on the job and being rude to customers. They'd had an argument and he was letting her go. Grace barely said goodbye before she left home again. It's been 5 months of radio silence. None of us knew where she was or what she was doing. Then recently, relatives started calling, saying Grace has been reaching out through them to apologize and ask for another chance. She says she's sorry, that she needs help finding work, and that she's finally seen the error of her ways. But we've had this before. She says this every time. Honestly, I'm drained. Watching my mother go through heartbreak after heartbreak because of Grace's behavior and manipulation, Mom feels responsible, and I get it. She raised Grace like her own daughter, but there's only so much you can do for someone who keeps rejecting your support and taking advantage of your kindness. At what point do we let her live with the consequences of her choices? She's had the same chance as my brother and I had, but she treats home as a pit stop, a place to refuel before the next reckless chapter. As a mother myself now, I understand the instinct to protect your child, even from themselves. But how many times can we offer forgiveness only to be left with more broken trust? Part of me wants to tell Mom it's time to let Grace go, yet seeing her heart when Grace suffers pulls at me too. I don't know where to draw the line anymore.
Dear writer, thank you for writing to us. And I'm sorry that your family is going through what they're going through, and that you find yourselves in such a position. And I also understand how, first of all, Grace doesn't know how fortunate she has been to have a mother figure, or a family for that matter, that loves her so much. They've given her so many chances. She has no idea. Grace is not a child anymore, and we can't continue. My own thoughts. We can't continue to make excuses for her decisions and choices, especially if they leave hurt. She has created like a trail of pain on the side of this family, and I feel like at a certain point, you know that saying of people who give need to know when to stop sometimes, because the people that take might never really stop. Like they'll just take and take and take and just keep taking. So I feel for the writer, and I feel what she's feeling for her mother, and I want her to know, to be proud of what her mother has done for Grace thus far. And if she feels she's gotten to a point where she wants to encourage her mother to let go, I'm not even mad at that anymore, because sometimes, I mean, we grew up, they're telling us, sometimes the world has a way of teaching people, unfortunately. Sometimes it's a hard lesson, sometimes it's mild, sometimes it's gentle. I feel like this is an opportunity for her, maybe to extend Grace just one last time. Ask her to come back home and talk to her, perhaps about what she wants out of life now. She's not a child anymore. Ask her what she wants out of life. And luckily, now you can have conversations drawing from actual life experiences. You see what happened. You see what happened. These are not things that happen to other people in the far distance anymore. These are things that have happened to her. And she ought to learn a lesson or two from. From that, I feel like you have to protect your mom at this point. Like, have a conversation with Grace without your mom first. And then when you see where Grace's head is at, then perhaps you can engage your mom. That's how I feel like. But at one point, you have to release her into the world. Release her. Unfortunately.
What are your thoughts, Dave?
I am a mother of 3.
Yeah.
So I'm imagining if one of my children
Yeah.
went wayward.
Yeah.
The heart of a mother will never switch off. You'll never say these are enough chances. This is the last chance. It will not switch off. So I completely get where her mother is coming from. And now Grace's sister, the one who wrote in, I think for you, take the position of a child. This is just your mother dealing with another one of your siblings. Yeah? It just so happens that Grace comes with a lot of bad experiences and rejection from her parents. So she's acting out. But let your mom love her in the best way that she can. I've listened to someone who has struggled with drug addiction, drug and alcohol addiction. And at some point her siblings were just like, you know what?
We're done.
She's a Kenyan creator, actually. I think she wouldn't mind if people mentioned Dora Obaka. At some point her siblings were like, but her mother stayed. So for someone who has such troubles and traumas, it's important for them to know that I have a soft landing.
That's true.
Yeah.
My take is, when I first read this email, my thought was, could this be a case where she was overly loved? Either she was overly loved or she was underloved. You know that two are not the best. Yeah, that was my first thought. And when I read it again, I decided to go onto Google and I found something called reactive attachment disorder. This disorder affects people who, as children, faced some kind of abuse or neglect. It's not common, it's very rare, but sometimes it's as an effect of abuse or neglect. And the writer has told us that this child was picked out of a bad situation. You've mothered a 3-year-old before. So all that, whichever bad situation that she had, and then being plucked out and being brought to a new place. Imagine if you go to a 3-year-old and just put them in a whole different place, whether you overlove on them or you underlove them, or if it's affecting them, then it's going to affect them. So my thought is there's probably something that is going on with this girl where she actually needs therapy. If you can get her to a therapist, have them look at her. Some of the symptoms actually of that disorder are failure to attach to people, failure to be empathetic with people, failure to settle down. They don't trust anyone. They don't feel anything for anyone except for themselves. So that's why you find that maybe this is why she's running here and there and just not being still in the same place, which is something she's probably not intending to do, but it's something that's happening because she has a mental illness.
Yeah.
I'm not pro. I can't diagnose her or anything, but I really think she has an issue that ought to be sorted out with therapy. They need to figure out where did this come from, that those first 3 years of her life, what could have happened there, how did it impact her, and how is it impacting her now. And she also needs to be told and reminded about how her actions affect more than just her. She may think it's her life, it's about her, but she needs to remember that she has a sister, she has
A brother.
Yes. And then another thing I would say is they need, as a family, to try and give her a bit of consistency. If you are accepting her, accept her. Don't accept her and then be on the phone saying, hey, she came back. I tell what shall we do? Things like that. Or if you are accepting her, speak to her father. Let him have a conversation with her as well. And tell her, regardless, I love you. Because they've told us the father rejected her. Regardless, I love you. So let her feel some semblance of calm, and maybe, just maybe, it will help her on her healing journey.
And you might find that time, I don't remember when she had, I think it was when she had run away from school and her father rejected her.
Yes.
You might find like that was the straw that broke the camel's
Thank
straw.
you.
So she was
Yes,
like, you know
that's
what?
very-
By the time my own dad has, how can this chick accept
Exactly,
me?
yeah.
So she has failed to relate to that someone else can love me if my parents do not.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
So
And
she's
don't-
struggling with a lot, I think, and would need help. But also, for someone to benefit from therapy, they have to want it.
That's the thing, yes. Also, we need to remember that she's probably still grieving her child.
Yeah, this is
She lost her child. People handle these things differently. Yeah.
So it's quite a lot. I think she needs a lot of love, because she's receiving rejection from so many places.
So many places.
Home,
Work,
or what would
yeah.
be home shouldn't be the place that she feels that rejection.
Yeah.
Let me ask, do you think that there's because, okay, I need to recollect my thoughts. There are people, and I've seen this happen in a wider family, where you bring in someone and they constantly, you don't even other them, you don't other them, but they other themselves, like you say, they either don't feel like they're deserving of the love of someone else, someone that didn't birth them, but also these are two siblings, so you find yourself othering. That experience where she says she came back at a certain point and didn't want to do anything around the house, and all she did was boss around the maid, the house help, and just watch TV. I feel like she was like, let me also enjoy the little pleasures of life. But at the same time, I can see why, because these are siblings that have been raised alongside her, I can see why they would feel like, okay, like you're not putting in effort. Because also to this family, we are going to concentrate on Grace a lot. That's okay. But also there's a family here that needs some sort of they're trying to find
Support.
solutions. They need to be supported. You know, they feel like they've given it their all. And this is the part where I probably say maybe therapy is it, where they say, but also that feels like, they've also finally released me to another person. So even these ones that had taken me in can't handle me, now they have released me. So, which is why for me, I wondered if the family can have a proper conversation with her first. Yeah, have a conversation with her, explore all the things that she might or she might not open up, but like put things on the table. And unfortunately, some of these things, yet you're not therapists, but I know internally there's a part of her that appreciates having had a loving home that took her in. She struggles, yes, but a part of her cannot forget that. So I feel like, yes, she might listen to this woman, probably. The woman might not say, this is the last time I'm engaging with you, by the way. No. In her heart, she can just be like, I've tried it all. I'm going to have one more conversation with her, and then I'll release her to a therapist. Perhaps ask her what her thoughts of being released to a therapist are like. And then while she's there, remind her that you're going to actually continue supporting her. You'll be there. You'll be within reach. So she doesn't feel like, they've also released me. I knew this was going to happen, you know. So this situation is a little hard. But at the same time, when you come back to real life, this woman, the writer now has a family of her own. She might not always be there for you the way you want her to be. And that's unfortunately real life. She has children to take care of and a growing mother to think of. The mother is not the same as she was when she first took you in. So things have really changed. And these are all open conversations to be had with this with Grace. And yeah, I feel like at one point, you have to release. You have to.
You know what you just said gave me a thought. You know, there are some people who really look for attention, who seek attention. So there is a possibility that she gets the most attention from her family when she misbehaves, for lack of a better word.
Yes. Oh, when she goes and comes back.
Yes.
So maybe they should not. They should try and not give it as much importance.
Okay.
Like, oh, you're back. Welcome back.
Okay.
Where have you been? Oh my God, we're so worried. I will definitely go back. But if you say, oh, you're back, welcome back, have a seat. And then I go back and come back, welcome. Like it's normal.
It's normal.
The way you react when I'm back from work is the way you react when I'm back from 5 months. Maybe I will stop looking for attention there. And maybe the family, they just probably have to treat her as a child. Like applaud her when she does something good. When she keeps a job for 2 weeks, when she's sober for 3 months, make it a big deal. Make it a bigger deal than you make her return or her misbehavior.
It made me think of the prodigal son. Like, as much as he asked for his inheritance, first of all, his father was still alive. Right. And he asked for his inheritance, went, blew it, and came back. Yeah. But the father still showed him the love that you would a child. And then his brother was feeling bad about, like, I've been here, I have worked, I have not asked you for anything, and you're still treating my brother like this. Yeah. But the father said, yeah, your brother is back. Like, he's my child, this is his home. But all this stuff is yours. Yeah. So all of us have siblings. Okay, we all have siblings.
Yes, I do. Yeah.
You don't choose the sibling that you get. You just happen to get Grace. So that's the sibling you have. Yeah. So are you going to throw her out? If this was your brother, would you be thinking the same way? Your biological brother, would you think the same way?
Probably not.
Probably not. And do you know why I said she probably wouldn't treat it the same way if it was her biological brother? Yeah. There's a reason why she said that story with my mother adopted Grace when she was 3 years old.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
otherwise,
I should have said
she wouldn't have given us
Yes.
that information.
Yeah. There's a reason. So she's identified by that.
Okay. But Grace is still ungrateful, isn't it?
She is.
She's not grateful.
She's either ungrateful or she's sick. You see, if we think about her as being a wild child and ungrateful and entitled, then we just see the bad. If we think about her as maybe being mentally unwell, she needs help, then our hearts soften a bit towards her, right?
Yes.
But for that, she'd have to get properly diagnosed.
Yeah.
You'd be able to do that, but she needs as much support, professional support,
as she does.
Therapist, psychologist, someone to just help her sort through.
Our writer as well, I feel like needs to speak to someone. I feel like she also needs to
offload.
Yes, to offload, to be listened to vent. Probably with her mother as well, because I feel like she also needs to heal.
Yeah.
She has a need to heal, and now she's a mother. She does not want to carry extra baggage, because sometimes we tend to bleed on people that didn't cut us. God forbid she gets into that position. So I really feel like she herself needs,
The writer?
yes, to get help.
Do you know what is something else that normally happens in these family dynamics, and I would know, is the way sometimes, and I'm not saying it's the case in this family. If it is, please, writer, actually let me know. Because I feel like sometimes when you bring in someone to adopt or nurture, you tend to give them more attention than you're giving your own children.
That's what I meant by
That's what you meant?
Was she overly loved? Yes.
So you give them the attention, you extend them so much grace than you are doing with your children. You forget your children are watching, they are seeing, they are feeling things. Now, as you grow older, by the time I start to see, I'm like, you know what, my mom I got the short end of the stick while my adopted sister got, my fostered sister, whatever.
Like she's getting more grace than we have ever seen.
Yes. And that could also be a point of hurt for me. Yeah. To see her, the person that got everything, the best of my mom, put my mom through this. I'm actually getting emotional because it's a tight situation. So you put that woman through this when you got the very best of her. And I, on the other hand, could have, but you know, she's my mom. I'm okay. Exactly. I'm okay. You're okay. You're okay.
To make matters worse, my mom chose her. Yeah. She didn't choose me. She didn't choose my brother. She chose her.
Yes. So I can see why the writer also feels like, is it time to let go? Because there's also that. So there's like a lot to unpack in this story. I didn't even think of at the first time.
There is a space where you can let go. But for your mother, I don't think
it is
fair of you to ask her
to let go.
Yeah.
I like what you said. Be a child.
Be a child.
Be a child.
In this situation. Be a mother to your kids. But in this situation, between your brother, your siblings, and your mom, you're a child.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
That would be it. That would be it for me. I wonder what other people have to say.
I wonder as well.
Yeah. If you've been in a similar situation, how have you handled it? How would you advise our writer to continue, like, to handle this situation? Because I know. And I like that we have gotten to a point where we actually open up about family dynamics. Things of long ago, we are talking about them now. It is never too late anyway, at whatever time you feel ready to talk. Yeah, but let us know what you feel or think in the comment section. And if you have anything that you would like for us to discuss here, and some pieces of advice for you with people like Daisy and other wonderful people out there, do send us an email
at gmail.com.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll leave it in the description.
Yes, we will. Yes, we will. All right.
Thank you for engaging with us.
Daisy, no, sure, we can't just let you go. We just can't let you go like that. Do you have a parting shot?
A parting shot. We can't expect life to be linear. We're going to be faced with challenges. Like you guys say, it's ebb and flows.
Yes.
Doesn't mean that it's going to be perfect, but always ask, how can I show up as my best self in this situation? Even when things continue to be unfair, how do you show up as your best self?
Yeah. True.
Okay.
I like that.
Same. Thank you for coming to the show.
To you, Daisy. Thank you for being here.
Daisy has a YouTube channel. Daisy, what are the... Okay, we're going to link, but still, tell us what your channel is.
Daisy Sunshine Official on all platforms.
Yeah.
I'm on a break on YouTube, but I'm coming back.
There's so much content.
You still have so much beautiful content.
And being.
Yeah. And we'll see you in the next episode.
Yeah.